remember this one time when I was listening to August and I was driving along the beach. My windows were down. I was just listening to the waves crashing and this song came on and I felt like everything stopped. I was thinking, okay, what book would be the perfect pairing for this? And the only book that came into mind was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Both just allude to that feeling that you want this summer love to last a little bit longer, and you're in this place where you don't know, when you're very unsure and all you can do is dream and hope. And I feel like both this book and this song is for dreamers and for those lovers who just wish they could get it right. This book follows Percy and Sam, and they actually end up meeting because Percy's parents decide to buy a house on the lake, and every summer they go there, and their next door neighbor is Sam's family. And so then you get to watch 6 summers of them falling in love, 6 summers of just carefreeness, of childhoodness, and what it means to fall in love when you're younger. And I feel like this book perfectly captures that and those feelings, as well as the feelings of what happens when things do go wrong and how do you go from that. And so I think this book is so beautifully perfect because you get to watch them fall in love when they're younger and those mindsets, and you get to be in her head, but as well you get to see the other timeline of them when they're older. And they hadn't seen each other in so many years. Percy has to come back for a funeral and she runs into Sam and she sees him, and it's just uncertainty, it's confusion, it's I don't know if I still love you, it's you were such a part of my childhood, how do I go on from this, how do I navigate this? So all those feelings come rushing back and you get to see all of it, which I think is so beautiful. And you get to see from childhood to now to when they're older and they're in like their 30s and stuff, and so you get to see this whole timeline, and it's so beautiful. And I feel like that's something that I want to see from August. I want to see that yearning, that hoping that she has, and then it just kind of ends there, because if you don't know, the Taylor Swift triangle there, he ends up going back to his other girlfriend, and that is set in Betty and in Cardigan. She kind of doesn't get that happily ever after, and you wish she could. This book is kind of like the redemption story. And for Percy and Sam, they see each other every summer, and it's kind of like, oh, August slips away in time because then they go back to their respective schools and they don't see each other, and then she comes back home and summer starts all over again. So you get this like kind of loop of what happens when you only see each other during summer. You get to watch that, and it's really beautiful, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I think this is a perfect book to just kind of start summer off with. It's the perfect hint of summer, but it's on a lake, it's not beachy just yet, so it's kind of like you have a little bit of spring, and it's perfect to start right now before we hit peak summer. If you love the song August, I promise you, you're gonna love this book Every Summer After.
Sunflower, my eyes want you more than
my matcha looks disgusting today. I actually, in the beginning of the video, I went to go get a spring citrus matcha, and so it was all like different colors, and I put it in this little glass and mixed it all up, and now it looks like this. So just don't mind it. Sunflower Volume 6 by Harry Styles. I feel like this is such an underrated song. It is the perfect song for summer. It's upbeat, it's happy, it's playful, it's whimsical, and it's just it's joy in a song. And I feel like the only person that comes to mind when I think about this song is Liz from Better Than the Movies. If you could bottle up that song into a person, that is Liz, and she is so funny, so quirky. I literally was laughing out loud when I read this book. This is one of my favorite books. I definitely am very biased when it comes to this book, but I feel like both the book and the song, it's kind of like that moment when you realize that the person you're looking for has actually been right under your nose, and it's the person that you least expected, and all of a sudden everything just clicks and makes sense. And I feel like that is exactly what this is. You follow Liz, you follow Wes, and you follow this enemies to lovers kind of trope. They have been next door neighbors forever, and he loves to pick on her and bother her, and she hates it. And so it's kind of like that enemies to lovers, not intense like fantasy enemies to lovers. She is a die-hard rom-com girl. She knows all of it. There's so many references to rom-com movies in here, which just adds like an element of fun and playfulness, just like the song. She loves music, and she's always playing music, and there's references to Billie Eilish, Khalid, like all these famous people in this book as well. And so it's very modern high school romance, and it's really fun and quirky, and this is just like the most perfect book to start reading now. It doesn't really fall in the category of summer, but I feel like the playfulness and how like giggly and just like funny this is, I feel like this is just perfect. Who doesn't love a good Harry Styles song? And that album specifically for summer is so insanely good to play. Liz loves music, and so I totally could envision her playing Sunflower Volume 6 while she's like with her headphones or in the car driving to school or just something. Like I could totally see that for her, and I feel like it definitely would have been in our playlist. Like it's just song fits so perfectly for her for the book. And I think it's cute because when you start to get into the romance and you watch the romance and everything about it, it's kind of like she almost wants him more than a melody, and he becomes the sunflower in her life, like the bright little light that she has been looking for, and everything clicks and makes sense. It's just like twirling in your driveway after a big first beautiful kiss. This song would be playing, and if you want to feel those whimsical happy emotions, this is the book for you.
This love is good, this love is bad, this love
I
is
knew that I had to pair this song with a book. I just had to share the song. This love is hands down one of my favorite songs ever. It's quiet, it's gentle, and it's so sweet, and it reminds me what love should feel like every single time. It reminds me of that saying of, if you love something, let it go, and if it's meant for you, it'll come back to you. And I feel like this song is that. And when I was thinking about a book for this, the only book I could think of that would perfectly amount to how amazing this song is, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Oh my goodness, I know this book has been like popularized for years. Like, we all love this book, we all know this book, but I am telling you, if you haven't read this book, this is your sign, because it has been talked about so much for a reason. Macy and Elliot are one of my favorite couples ever. They fall in love as teenagers and they see each other again, and everything just clicks. All those emotions and those feelings come rushing back, and they're standing in front of one another and realize that the love has never faded, and it never will. And that is so beautiful. And you get to watch again. It's very similar to Every Summer After, where you get those 2 points of views of when they were little and child and get to know each other and fall in love, and then one when they're older and they see each other again, and all these emotions that come rushing back, and they reminisce on those childhood memories. But I think what I love so much about this one specifically is the childhood memories are so intricately detailed that it makes it feel like you were there and you're part of this little secret circle that only those who have read it know. Their love for books together, their little secret codes, like all these little things that just made them so beautifully human. And what I love about this book and this song is that the love that's shown isn't flashy, it isn't loud. I feel like a lot of times when I read romance, sometimes the love is just like a little too out there, and it's like, oh, I have to do this big grandiose thing to show you I love you. And sometimes it's not that. It's in the little things. It's, oh, I grabbed your favorite chocolate on the way home because I know you'd love it, or oh, like, let me do the dishes, like, I know you're tired today. Like those little things where they see you and they know you, and you don't have to explain it, but they just understand because of the history, or because they're very observant, or whatever it may be. But it's quietly given to you that you didn't realize that is what love is meant to be. And I feel like this book perfectly embodies that, and so does this song, which is why I love both of them so much, because I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think love should be like that. And it's just all about that one person that you can never forget, and their love is good, their love is bad, but then their love comes back alive from the dead, and you get to experience that with them. Find yourself wanting to feel those emotions. I know it's not necessarily like super summery per se, but I think it just like alludes to how beautiful love is. And the setting is still very fun. It's San Francisco, there's trees, it's peaceful, I would say. And I think that if you're looking for a quiet little summer romance, this would be a book to read. If you haven't already, go listen to This Love by Taylor Swift. Put it on all of your playlists that you think it's appropriate. I put it on my sad ones, and I put it on my oh, I'm in love playlist. Like, this song just will always find its way back to me. If you haven't listened to it already, this is your sign to go listen to it. This is your sign to go pick up and read this book. And I promise you, you won't regret either one of them.
You can. No shirt, no shoes, only my feet. Just my boy behind me, he's taking pictures.
Yeah, I don't know if this song is like really mainstream, but Solar Power by Lorde, for me, I feel like when I play this song, I am like stepping into the light and being like undeniably myself, and I'm kind of like, yes, this is me. I am stepping into who I'm meant to be. It's just kind of like about being seen, and I feel like this perfectly describes Belly from The Summer I Turned Pretty, when she steps out and she's like, hey guys, what's up? It's me. And all of a sudden heads are turning and they're like, wait a second, because she's the girl that got overlooked for so long, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, you're not young. And she's like, oh babe, I'm here and I'm old and I'm beautiful, so give me the attention I deserve. And it's just kind of like, that's like the persona that she gives off, and it's so cute and it's so fun. And I know that this book series and this TV show is super popular, and if you're watching this, you definitely have probably already seen that, because us girlies, we are the same. And I did want to make note of this one because obviously it is the definition of a perfect summer, and I'm not going to necessarily explain like too much of the plot here, like what it's about, because everyone knows what this is about already. I feel like both of these paired together is just like the euphoric feeling of summer, of having the time to actually be yourself, free of responsibility, free of worry. You're at a whole different place. You're at Cousin's Beach. Like nothing matters here. Everything is perfect here. And so she uses summer as an escape, and she just like puts on this smile, and it's like the undercurrent of letting everything go. Like she lets the waves just rush anything else that doesn't even matter out the way, and she just gets to be happy and peaceful and at the beach and with the boys, and just, it's so fun. And it's so fun to read, and especially right now because the 3rd season is coming out real soon this summer. And so I feel like right now starting to read them would be perfect, because then you get to read the book, watch the season 1, read book number 2, watch season number 2, read book number 3, and then you're ready to watch season 3. And since it's like the last season ever, I just think that that would make the experience so much better, that you get to actually understand every little thing. And the book actually explains a lot that doesn't happen in the show, and you just get like more of a perspective of what is she thinking, what are people feeling, and just like a little bit more insight, which is really, really nice when you're reading the book and then watching the TV show. You kind of just get things a little bit easier. And so I definitely will be doing that reread as well. So I think that you guys should either for the first time or do a little reread with me. Go ahead, read the book, watch the show, and we can make it like a fun little thing. Because at Cousin's Beach, it's no shirt, no shoes, only belly and her features, and the boys behind her taking pictures, and she's leading all the boys and girls down to the beach, and it's an amazing time at Cousin's Beach, I promise you. So if you're looking to romanticize your life a little, Belly is the perfect example of that, and a little escape with a little bit of drama and a little bit of boys and a little bit of romance. Pick up this book, play this song, it will be so worth your while. And last but certainly not least, we have Mamma Mia. And this song, every time I play this song, I just get feelings of excitement, of summer, of freedom, of like these ups and downs, like euphoric, happy feelings. And the only book I thought that could perfectly pair with this is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle, because I mean, when you play Mamma Mia, you think like it evokes some sort of like Italy feelings, and why would I not pick a book that is also based in Italy? This book follows Katie. She's 30 years old, and she plans this big fun little trip with her mom to visit Positano, Italy. And Positano, Italy is exactly where her mom had spent some years of her life, and it was like her best years of her life. And so she would always talk and reminisce about these certain places and things that she would do and all this stuff. And so then she was like, OMG, like we have to go there together. And unfortunately her mom actually ends up passing away, and so she decides, I'm still gonna go to commemorate her and go on this beautiful trip and see all these beautiful places I've heard about for so long. And so right before that, she actually ends up divorcing her husband, and she was like, I'm just gonna go, I have no attachments, and I'm just gonna have the best time of my life ever. And you get to watch that. I mean, this book, I read this book 2 years ago now, and I still think about the setting, the way that Rebecca perfectly described it. It feels like you are sitting there. It feels like you are walking those streets, and you're walking up all those stairs, and you're at the beaches, and you're sitting there drinking an Aperol Spritz. Feelings that she wrote and the way she wrote it, I cannot express to you how perfect it feels and how perfect it will be reading it in summer, especially if you want to pretend like you're in Italy. This is the book for you. And then obviously pairing it with Mamma Mia, because why would we not? I feel like for me, when I play any ABBA song or any of the Mamma Mia soundtracks or watch any of the Mamma Mia movies, I just have a lot of nostalgic feelings, and I reminisce on these feelings of when I used to watch it when I was younger, like the people I'd watch it with or how I'd talk about it, and just like where the songs played. I would go back and I think about these places and these times, and I think it's so beautiful how music can do that and how a book can make you also do that. You can go to these places and feel all this nostalgia, because in this book she ends up going to this place and she walks the streets her mother walked, and all of a sudden she's like, wow, I understand, I feel her presence here. And then she runs into her own mother there, and a version of her mother when she was actually younger and living there. And so I think this just makes the book 10 times more fun, because the book would have been amazing without this little twist here, but the twist just makes it so whimsical and exciting to read, and you're like, wait a second, what in the world? I remember reading it and being like, huh? Like, that is not what I expected to read that from beginning the first page to now seeing her mother in a younger form in Italy, and she's like partying with her and doing all these fun, crazy adventures. That is like when the song kicks in, is like when they're traveling and they're doing all these spontaneous things. I mean, it's Italy, who cares what you do? And so you get to follow them when they do all these fun little wild adventures. I feel like for this, it's just the perfect balance of summer and the ups and downs, and what it means to have like a carefree summer and be so fun, but also understand like the heaviness of what life can do to you and the grief and stuff like that. And I think it's a beautiful balance of both, where you're still getting those summery feelings, but it also has some intense topics in it. So I did mention those grief topics and the divorce and things that obviously are very heavy for someone to deal with, and so she's understanding that while finding new people, meeting new people, finding some people from her past, and all of the above. And I think it's beautiful watching her learn how to fall in love again and how to fall in love with herself. Starting this book off now would be so fun, because you just get to sit and read about Italy. I mean, who wouldn't want to pretend that they're sitting on a beach in Italy drinking Aperol spritz? Because this book would do that to you, and just play the whole Mamma Mia soundtrack at that point, because that is what this book gives, and it's the most perfect pairing. And I feel like it was the only pairing to end off this video. Nothing else tops it. It's genuinely so stinking good. So if you haven't read that, she's an amazing author, and it's an amazing book, and that is where I conclude. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for tagging along. I hope you got some good recommendations and some good songs for the summer, and found some cute pairings, because I think it just makes reading so much more fun when you have a good playlist playing in the background and you have a good book. So I hope this helped you out, prepped you up for summer. I am so ready. I'm ready to do some summer themed videos, so get excited for that. And I will see you all next week. I love you so much. Bye.